I actually know what you guys are probably thinking right now. We didn't hear so much from Anthony in the first segment. Why'd you bring him on? Well, because he's cool. Come on, give him a chance. And secondly, this is where we're going to point out about our boys across the river, our enemies. Anyway, so Islanders, winners of 6 in a row, unbeaten at Nassau Coliseum. Give us your thoughts.
Well, it's funny, when the season started, beforehand, a lot of the pundits, when they were making playoff predictions, there were a couple that left them out of the top 4. And I'm saying to myself, like, they just made the conference finals, where's the respect? And, you would think with Lou Lamoriello and Trotz being in charge now, they would start to give the team the benefit of the doubt after they come off a season of having so much success. So they struggled out of the gate, but they've really picked it up. And I think what it comes down to really is goaltending. Varlamov has been really good when he's called upon, which is the majority right now. Sorokin's not getting many starts, but in his last 4 starts, Sorokin has a .952 save percentage and a 1 GAA, so he's really starting to heat up. So if Varlamov does falter, they have a guy back there that could still provide them with wins. But just overall, you know how the Islanders play. They play defense first. They wait for other teams to make mistakes. And when they do, they jump all over it. They're a quick strike team in that regard. And they're getting scoring from, we mentioned Pajot before in the earlier segment. Pajot has 9 goals. He's got 17 points in 26 games. He's a Swiss Army knife. He kills penalties. He plays in the power play. And since he's been playing with Oliver Wahlstrom's starting to look like the player everyone thought he could be when he was drafted. They added him in on that Ovi spot in the power play, and he's unleashing a lot of Ovi-like shots that are either hitting the net or causing a rebound. The Islanders put him in. So they're just getting contributions up and down their lineup. Matt Martin scored 2 goals the other night. Casey Zikas, Cal Clutterbuck are scoring. Just everything's going on good for them right now. My concern is they're one of the only teams that have used 6 defensemen all year. They haven't had any other defensemen play. And their depth after that top 6 is worrisome. Thomas Hickey hasn't played a game in the NHL since the 18-19 season. Sebastian Aho hasn't played a game since the 17-18 season. So if Andy Green or Adam Pelich or Pullock get hurt, anybody in the top 6, they have a real problem. And that's the one thing that really concerns me right now as an Islander fan.
John, your thoughts?
It's a Barry Trotz coach team. I know that I'm pretty sure that when we first started this whole thing, we were talking even before that, and we were talking about how, the Rangers absolutely destroyed the Islanders in that second game of the season, 5-0. I'm pretty sure I told you it was like, it's a Barry Trotz coach team. They're not going to come back and give you another effort like that. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's going to go down as one of the best ever. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's a leader of men. Anthony and I actually got to interview Joe Beninati and Craig Laughlin when we had our show. And Joe actually mentioned that they were kind of under the gun, knowing that this was kind of their last hurrah in Washington with that group, with Trotz. So they rallied around Trotz, and they got the job done in 2018. And that's what Barry does. Barry gets guys to buy into his system. And when they do, and you play the game right, and you work and you pay the price, and you sweat and you bleed, like Ric Flair used to say, you win games and you go far. And that team, what they're doing right now is just like that. It's just like they did in Washington. They may not have the talent like they did in Washington, and that's I think the big difference between the two teams. Although I will say it's a shortened season, so I try not to put too much stock into it. Rather, I will say that Matt Barzal looks like he's starting to understand that he needs to hold on to the puck less. He needs to shoot more, and he needs to add an element of unpredictability to his game, because it looks like he's starting to take that next step. And Wahlstrom, who I was high on him this draft year. Anthony will tell you that. I was very high on him and Dobson. Starting to turn a corner, too. It looks like he's starting to understand what it means to be a pro. I still think he needs to work on his skating. Their forward depth is good. They may not have a ton of guys that'll wow you, but they are the sum of their parts. And that's what team sports is about being the sum of your parts. And if you have a team that can play like that and that can come together and buy in and do all those types of things, you can win more games than not. I just wonder about them come playoff time, because that's usually when the top end talent takes over, as we've seen in the last decade or so.
You know, what's funny is there are a lot of people that say what you have mentioned, that they're not as talented as some other teams, which is true. But I don't know if it's changed in the last night or two, but the last time the Islanders played, they were the only team in the league that had 5 players or more that had 9 goals or more. So they do have a lot of guys who can put the puck in the net that I think are, that some people, you know, overlook in regards to their scoring ability. You know, Brock Nelson has 10 goals. Anders Lee has 12 goals. He's looking like the Lee of old in some ways. You know, Barzal, obviously, Pajot, 9 goals. So they have a lot of guys that can hurt you. It's just that's not their first mindset, is to attack. Like I said, they're all about playing defensively. And I think that
what have they lacked?
Supporting cast?
Not only that, but they've lacked a true number 1 sniper.
Yes.
How they're getting goals. Again, I'm not going to discredit them. They're playing well, but it is a small season, so it's a small sample size. But you know, come playoff time, you're going to need that true number 1 guy that could really, really put the pucks in the net. So that would be my big concern come playoff time.
Before I get more word from Anthony on this, I'll say first a joke, a couple of compliments, and some of my concerns. For starters, the joke is, what is the deal with the Islanders that they have to have guys with similar sounding names? First it was Marc Streit, and then it was Brian Straight. Now it's got to be Pullock and Pelich. No, make one of the guys change their name.
There are too many states nowadays. Please eliminate 3. I am not a crackpot.
But Adam Pelich is a really good defenseman. Ryan Pullock, I thought he was going to take that next step to be like this upper echelon offensive defenseman. You just don't see that. That's not any concerns that I have. Now, Ilya Sorokin's looking good. I think the combined amount of wins he's had against the Sabres and the Devils, and did they let him play against anyone else? You know, you're eventually, if this kid is going to be lightning in a bottle, he's going to have to face the Flyers and the Penguins and all these other guys. Obviously, he's a good goalie because he was touted as the best goalie not in the NHL, or possibly not named Sorokin. Because if you listen to anybody talking about the KHL, it's always those two. My concern is their specialty teams. And obviously they got a good penalty kill, but their power play, if you want to be anything, you got to make people pay. And that's what they have to address at the deadline. You have to get a power play guy. Is that going to upset the chemistry that they got? I don't know.
You know, they have one spot that every Islander fan is saying they need to upgrade at the trade deadline. And that one spot is the spot held by Michael Del Cole on the 3rd line. Because everyone else, I mean, the 4th line's the 4th line, they're staying, and, you know, their first 2 lines are pretty cemented. But it's that 3rd line missing piece that they want to upgrade on Del Cole. Problem is their cap situation. They have no money to bring someone in unless they send money out. So unless, I'm just going to make a hypothetical here because I know he's been mentioned, like Kyle Palmieri. He would fit excellent. But in order to fit him, the Devils would have to take back Leo Komarov. What that does is it adds to what you have to give up to get Palmieri. Because not only do you have to pay for Palmieri, you have to pay for the Devils to take Komarov. So that's the issue they're in right now. So, I mean, do they bite the bullet and do that? You know, Arthur Staple, their beat writer in Athletics, said that Kiefer Bellows and their this year's 1st and this year's 2nd are the most tradable assets. So you trade Bellows, a 1st, maybe someone like Bodie Wild, and Leo Komarov to get that Palmieri. I mean, I personally don't know if I would do it.
No, I would.
The alternative is get someone real cheap like Bobby Ryan, making $1 million, and you know he's doing a little better with Detroit this year, so that's a possibility. But they do need to add somebody that can help on their power play and as well on their 3rd line to play with Pajot and Wallstrom. That's really what they're missing right now.
I'm glad you mentioned Kiefer Bellows Bodie Wild and those 2 picks, because my argument has still been, yes, you can go get somebody with what assets.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've talked about that with you in the past, Anthony. We talk about sustainability and a long-term outlook. And if you keep giving up assets for short-term fixes, like they gave up quite a bit to get Pajot. You go and give up something close to that to go get Kyle Palmieri. I mean, are you really going to be able to re-sign Kyle Palmieri and then worry about what other players you're going to have to deal with signing and giving new deals to in the next years? I mean, Matt Barzal's got 2 years after this at 17, and then you're looking at a raise to 8.5, maybe 9 million, depending on what he does.
And this offseason, we have Adam Pullock, Anthony Beauvillier, and Ilya Sorokin to sign. So
imagine if that team still had Devin Taves.
I don't think Lou really wanted to make that trade. Staple has said that he was something he was really hesitant on doing, but I guess for whatever reason he felt that moving him over Nick Leddy, or maybe it was because Nick Leddy, his price tag, no one wanted Leddy, but his hands were tied. That hurt. But I think the rationale was that Noah Dobson was able to step in, who's actually played very well so far. But yeah, there's no doubt about it. Trading Devon Taves really, really sucks.
Quick question, guys, for both of you. Is the Matt Barzal goal the goal of the year? And if not, what would be the only things holding it back?
I mean, I would say it is. I know Connor McDavid scored a beauty this year when he went through the whole team. But Barzal, he caught up to Ristolainen. He shrugged off someone who has a lot of weight on him. Then got knocked off balance himself. Regained his balance quick enough to go in, have the train of thought to put a stick between his legs, drag a Hutton along, and then put it in the net. So I mean, it was unbelievable. It really was. So I would say yes, but I also wouldn't be offended or think anyone's stupid if they said that it's not. But I'd say it is.
John?
Probably top 3 for me. I don't know if it's the one. I mean, you're looking. I mean, 2 of those goals that Connor McDavid scored, I think, against Vancouver were just absolutely unreal. I'm probably biased because McDavid is one of my absolute favorite players in the league. And I've gone on record saying this many times, he's the most skilled player I've ever seen in my life. So I would probably lean towards McDavid, but Barzal definitely gives him a run for his money. That was a hell of a goal.
That's an amazing goal. I mean, the only thing that could, and again, it's an amazing goal. We're just nitpicking for the sake of nitpicking. He shrugs away the defenseman. If he scored right after that on Ristolainen, that would have made it a good goal. But then he gets almost too far past. It was Carter Hutton, right?
Yeah.
And he slows down, puts it between his legs, and puts it in the net. The only way it could have been better is if he did it at top speed and he roofed it. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no other way around that.
I got asked by friends in a group text who he abused more, and it was either Hutton or Ristolainen. And I said he abused Hutton more with that move, because that going through the legs that tight in and being able to pull that move off is just unreal.
I think the Islanders right now, barring some sort of epic collapse, I think they've built enough of a cushion where they'll definitely be in the playoffs. Will they win the division? I'm not sure, but I think they have definitely a good shot at it. Boston has taken their lunch money for years, and they're 4-0 against Boston this year. So that helps them going forward in terms of trying to win the division. But, I think at the deadline, they either need to add a depth defenseman in case someone goes down and find a way to add some more scoring. But, I think the cliche is you need to learn how to lose before you can win in this sport, or really in any sport. But they got a taste of the conference finals last year. I think they were left with a bad taste. So they're coached by one of the best coaches. So I think they'll definitely win, rounds, probably 2 rounds. Will they make it past the conference finals again? That I don't know. But as an Islander fan, I'm happy with the direction they're going so far.
Well, they're making me nervous because I have a $500 bet with my friend John, who runs All Things Islanders. on who's going to win the Stanley Cup first, the Rangers or the Islanders, and it's not exactly going well. But tell us what you think about how the Islanders are doing. Do you want them all to perish from the face of the earth, or do you think that they could be very dangerous the rest of the way? I got to be honest, we're still Ranger fans right here, although we're going to broaden out to the rest of the league. Comment everything you can below. Go ahead, comment.
Like,
right.
share.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe.
Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here,